What if Fight Club was released in 2025? Would it go viral on TikTok? Turned into bite-sized rebellion by gym bros and digital philosophers? Or would it be instantly canceled, dissected by think pieces, and torn apart by a culture that overanalyzes everything and forgives nothing? Would it spark a new underground movement, or just fuel endless Reddit rabbit holes and Gen Z edits misunderstood by everyone over 30? Let's find out. Back in 1999, Fight Club wasn't just another movie release. It was a rebellion disguised as entertainment. Beneath its gritty visuals and anarchic storyline, it carried a message that struck a deep, uncomfortable chord with a generation of men who felt invisible, disillusioned, and numb. It rebelled against the soul-crushing monotony of corporate life, the suffocating grip of consumer culture, and the growing epidemic of emotional repression. Tyler Durden, the film's charismatic anti-hero, wasn't just a character. He was an idea, a fantasy, a dangerous invitation to unleash the chaos that modern society forced men to suppress. He stood for everything the average man wasn't allowed to express: rage, raw masculinity, and the rejection of conformity. When it first premiered, the film didn't perform well. Critics dismissed it as nihilistic and incoherent. Audiences were confused. Many walked away thinking it glorified violence or failed to understand what it was trying to say. It flopped at the box office and seemed destined to fade into obscurity. But something strange happened. Fight Club didn't die. It multiplied. Through word of mouth, late-night rewatchings, and early internet forums, it began to gain a following. Not just fans, disciples. The film was reinterpreted, debated, and ultimately reborn as a cult classic. It became the ultimate guy movie, the one passed between friends like a secret. A cinematic rite of passage, but even then, it was deeply misunderstood. Many focused on the surface, the bare knuckle fights, the soap, the shock value, and missed the deeper critique of modern masculinity, identity, and the illusion of control. Fast forward to today, and the cultural landscape has shifted dramatically. We live in a time of heightened awareness. Toxic masculinity is a mainstream topic, mental health is openly discussed, and cancel culture is both feared and weaponized. TikTok psychology breaks down every character, every scene, turning moments into micro-trends. In this world, a film like Fight Club wouldn't just be watched. It would be dissected, recontextualized, and judged in real time. Tyler Durden's iconic line, "You are not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive," would probably go viral. It would show up on TikTok, stitched over gym footage, motivational edits, or reels about quitting the 9-to-5. At first glance, it would sound like self-help, empowering even. But then someone would remind the audience, Tyler Durden isn't a guru. He's a delusion, a hallucinated terrorist, a man created by another man's mental breakdown. That's when the conversation would get complicated. Would today's audiences idolize Tyler as a bold truth-teller? Or would they call him a red flag, the cinematic embodiment of everything wrong with unchecked masculinity? If Fight Club dropped on Netflix tomorrow, you can bet that number Tyler Durden would trend on social media within hours. Clips would be everywhere. Edits would go viral. People would quote him without context, repeat his philosophy without nuance, and use his words to justify everything from quitting their jobs to punching walls. Gym bros would turn "self-destruction is the answer" into a motto. And then, right on cue, the backlash would begin. Critics would emerge. This movie glorifies violence. It's anti-woman. It romanticizes mental illness. It's dangerous in the wrong hands. Think pieces would flood the internet, podcasts would explode with debates, TikTok psychologists would analyze the narrator's trauma, YouTubers would break down the toxic symbolism, and within days, everyone would be talking, but very few would actually be listening. Just like in 1999. Now imagine a 2025 recasting. The narrator? Maybe Timothée Chalamet, fragile, intelligent, emotionally repressed. Tyler Durden? Someone like Cillian Murphy or Jake Gyllenhaal, charming but unsettling. Marla Singer? Florence Pugh, who could channel the right mix of brokenness and edge. On paper, it works. But would they get it? Or would the studio force it to be safer, cleaner, less controversial? Would the rawness of the original survive today's test audiences and studio notes? Or would Fight Club be gutted and reassembled into just another stylized action flick? Because here's the hard question. Could you even make Fight Club in 2025? Would a studio greenlight a movie that doesn't just explore but embraces the darkest parts of modern masculinity, only to deconstruct them by the end? Would they risk putting a terrorist hallucination at the center of a psychological drama and trust audiences to understand the satire? Or would they water it down, wrap it in digestible messaging, and bury the madness under market research? If Fight Club came out today, it would be a viral wildfire, no question. It would generate short-term buzz and long-term controversy. It would ignite both love and hate. Some would call it genius. Others would call it a threat, just like they did in 1999. And maybe that's the whole point. Fight Club was never supposed to comfort us. It wasn't there to pat us on the back and say, "You're doing fine." It was meant to punch us in the face, to confront us with everything we're afraid to admit about ourselves, about society, and about what happens when the mask finally cracks. So the real question is this: would Fight Club thrive in today's world, or be torn apart by it? The truth is, Fight Club was never meant to be easy. It was never meant to be liked by everyone. It wasn't made to sell toys, win awards, or make you feel good. It was made to challenge, to provoke, to unearth questions we didn't even know we were avoiding. And maybe, just maybe, that's why it still matters. Maybe it matters now more than ever. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Fight Club would survive in the age of TikTok takes and cancel culture? Would Gen Z embrace it, reject it, or transform it into something entirely new? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. Start a thread. Challenge someone. Be part of the conversation that goes deeper than surface-level hot takes. Because your opinion, it matters here. This isn't just a video, it's a fight against passive watching. And if you loved this dive into cinema's most disruptive stories, if you're the kind of person who sees films not just as entertainment, but as cultural earthquakes, then you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning. We've got rewrites, deep dives, alternate timelines, and cinematic what-ifs coming every single week. The movies you thought you knew, we'll flip them upside down. The stories you love, we'll show you how they would survive or collapse in today's world. And hey, if this video made you think, made you reflect, or made you feel something, share it with a friend, a sibling, someone who needs to hear it. Let it start a real conversation, not just a comment war. Because sometimes the most powerful films aren't made for the present, but the present still desperately needs them. I'll see you in the comments, I'll see you in the next video. And until then, remember the first rule of this channel. Always question the narrative. Now go start a fight in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe.